this is Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. The sequel to the original Star Wars movie from the 80s, and ever since I watched it, I was fascinated by the first act of the movie because the whole movie is great. But I really liked watching the battle scene in Hoth, the ice planet, with the AT-ATs walkers, but also the AT-STs, and the different scenes that we get with Han, Luke, and Leia. I also recently joined a sci-fi building contest in Minecraft, so it was pretty clear for me what I had to build. So I built it. When I first started, I went in without a plan. I just started building the AT-AT since it's the most important part of the battle. And as a start, I didn't even know that I was going to do the whole battle. I just wanted to do the walkers because I really liked them. From the start on, I should say that this build will be in a 1.5 to 1 scale, which means it'll be 1.5 times bigger than in the actual Star Wars universe. This is to give greater attention to detail in Minecraft. For example, the AT-AT, which is 22 meters high, will be about 10 or 11 blocks higher in the actual build. All of the builds will continue with this rule of proportion, although I might break this rule in the future. But at this point in the project, I made my first mistake. I forgot to record myself building the AT-ATs walking, which is the versions you're seeing right now behind. And I also made a Hoth diorama with some snow, later some AT-STs which you will see, but I decided I had to go either bigger or go home, because I could do so much more with the Hoth battle and this was not going to cut it. So I had to do an actual building plan, and that's when I logged off of Minecraft and I opened World Painter. For the shape of the battlefield, I went with a U shape or N shape, so we have all of the Empire forces attacking and it's a closed space and it looks snow from every side. And the next stage was, of course, to make the battlefield to go from the terrain into an actual war scene. You can see the interior of the Hoth, or the Echo base, I'm sorry. Here the entrance, which I did with Axiom. I sadly don't have footage of it. And this is how it looked from above. I later built other elements of the battle, like the power shield generators, which appear of course in the movie. It was really fun to build this because I was able to give them a little texture at the end. They are sadly not a centerpiece of the build as other little stuff will be, but I think it's nice that they are there and that you can see them. These were also fairly easy to do since they're modular, and I simply checked the proportions and images also from the original movie to get a reference for them. And they came out nicely. I placed them and they made the terrain look much more realistic. But what actually made the terrain look like a battlefield was all of the little craters and battle damage that there is around, and especially what you already saw but you actually didn't see how you get there, which were the trenches, for which you will now see a time-lapse of. For the craters, I sadly don't have good footage of it, or the other power shield generator, which is broken to the left. But the trenches, you can see how I went from a hole to adding little snow around, maybe some diorite to make it look like it's actually dirty snow, and then some firing positions, as well as some turrets and radio sonars. I'm not sure if they're called radio sonars, but let's call them radio sonars for now. I later built the ion cannons, which are another background element of the battle, but they also look really nice in the pictures that I will show at the end. And when I was done with all of the scenery and the battlefield, that includes the trenches and the cannons, but also the craters, I was finally ready to start placing the AT-ATs that I had built at the start. I must say this was by far my favorite part, and maybe the most relaxing one. After placing the AT-ATs, I built and placed the AT-STs. I first built them in creative, made them be in a fun position, a walking position, and placed them all over the battle. I sadly don't have footage of it, but I went the same way around as I did with the AT-ATs. I later moved into a bigger phase of the entire project. I built the Imperial Star Destroyer, which is not a central part of the battle again, because the AT-ATs are, and those are already in the battle, but it appears sometimes during the scene and is of course one of the most remarkable assets of the Star Wars universe. I want to do a separate video on how I did the entire building, but you will be able to see a time lapse in this one.
What are you talking about?
In the other video, I will also explain how do I actually build any vehicle or building if I am able to, by following its blueprints or building plans. And the actual reason why I built Imperial Star Destroyer was only for this picture with the ion cannon, which I first took without the Imperial Star Destroyer, and I was actually first planning to only draw it on top of the picture and get over with it, but I decided to build it and retake the picture, and in my opinion it came out really nicely. And hey, it's a new ship to my addition, so I'm pretty glad about that. To see the entire process of me building the Imperial Star Destroyer, you will have to wait for the next video. Okay, a really small break here because I forgot to add it in the first time that I edited it. I did the T-47 speeder, which you're seeing right now in a picture, and I also did a TIE fighter, so you will see a really fast time lapse of that right now. And for the next part of the project, I decided I wanted to use the diorama that I had built at the start of the video. So I stepped off of Minecraft and opened Blender, and transferred the diorama into this picture and finally the video thumbnail. Then I decided I should do the same for the ISZ and did this other new picture. One of them you already saw before. And lastly, during the editing I said, hey, let's do another one, and I did this poster. But it was really hard since I have absolutely no Blender experience. And I must say, all of this wouldn't have been possible without this amazing video by Tom Stein, so he gets himself a well-deserved shoutout. Which reminds me too that I should give these other creators a shoutout. First, Tom on Mars for his inspiration to build a Minecraft Star Wars video, and you can probably see an editing resemblance in my video and his. He's truly incredible, so shout out to him. As well as for It's Proger for his editing resources and editing ideas, which appear a lot during the video. Links to all of them, as well as music credits, are all in the description. And with further ado, the build slowly came to its end, and I'm happy to present to you all the Battle of Hoth from Star Wars in Minecraft.